Ready to be outdriven. I'm working my way to the top to doing this shit for a living. If you want that money, be double out. And if you want that trophy, take double out. And if you want to be a winner, be double out. And if you want to be a champ, take double out. Be double out. Take double out. Be double out.
What's up, everybody? We are back at the BE00TAKE00 show. I am your co-host, PJ North, along with the one and only Fluff. Tebow, Tyler, what's good, baby?
Oh, just another day in paradise.
You know,
Working on racetracks.
we're going to talk a lot about let's just kick it off there. Working on racetracks a good way to kick this off. I think you guys are making. We're just going to jump into it because that's what we do around here. I take that back. Before we do that, if you're watching, hit like and subscribe. If you're watching live on YouTube, I almost did. Let us know. Let us know in the comments that you're watching. Let us know your feedback. We appreciate it. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, don't forget to leave us a review. Share with your friends. Let us know where you're listening from, and tell us what your thoughts are. You can comment live on Spotify. Apple doesn't have that functionality, but let us know, man. Tag us also if you're listening. We do appreciate all the feedback. If you also have comments or questions or concerns, please send those to BE00TAKE00show@gmail.com. And all right, now let's get into it. US 60 has spent, I think the Mattingly family, Chris, Shelby, and Leonard even, helps in. I'm sure jumps in there sometimes. You guys are spending a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of effort to make this small town racetrack a thing again, right? It's obviously always been around. I've raced there with you guys on Fridays a handful of times. Bracket finals, as they used to call it, was always a big deal. But you guys are really trying to bring it back.
14 the first time I ran a bracket finals in a big car.
How do you feel now that you've run it? You're going into your second year. What's your thoughts? Just kind of like, obviously you've seen just such a crazy progression, right? Because there's so many things are changing, and obviously there's pluses and minuses, but how do you feel about it?
I really do enjoy it. It's frustrating, I guess, just like everything else, but I've found that like the whole time I was gone racing this, February.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go back to the track and do my thing. It's, there's days that, like I said, are frustrating, but it's nice. And it's just something that, I enjoy doing. When you open the gates on Friday, it makes everything worth it. And so there's like there's a sense of accomplishment, and I kind of enjoy that. I enjoy the challenge of it. And, there's a lot of shit to learn. I feel like I can put cars down the racetrack. I can, get them to show up. But that was where my knowledge ended when I started.
A lot of stuff.
So it's, just like weekly stuff. It's just like any other business that never ends.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, man. There's the difference between me and you. I ran a racetrack with my father and our family for a few years, and it was like the worst experience of my life. Like, I hated it. I will tell you, I was cleaning up trash and dumping trash bins every week for Pops, man, and that was what paid for my studio time. I'll never forget this. My first check from him for working at the racetrack went to my studio time. That's all I cared about, obviously, but like racing has been such a huge part of my life, and even at that point, but I hated it, man. Like, all I wanted to do was like prove a point that we knew what we were doing, right? And it's like, that's the hard part for me, is like, it's so personal. At that point, I couldn't separate the two. I could not. I was
yes.
I don't know how you do it.
Well, so for me, I don't. That's kind of the thing, and that's what like people don't see is like when I'm here at home or like when I actually go racing and it's the same shit, and you're not. It's constant. You can't even focus on racing sometimes. Like, that's when I drive myself
insane, absolutely nuts.
Yeah. But like, you got to figure it out, right? I chose this as everything.
Yeah, I get it.
Before TV promotions, like Terry. I can remember Terry Huff telling me one time, he's like, I'm going to retire one day and you can just slide on in here and do my job. And at the time, I thought that was the dumbest thing I'd ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
But there's a sense of that for one, originally I thought it would help me with TV promotions, kind of see the other side of what we deal with.
Yeah.
We deal with racers and we deal with racetracks. Why not be educated in both? So I did it for that. And then I just, kind of really did fall in love with it. And the other thing is, like, I don't think of it as a job because I have TB promotions. I have events at US 60.
Yeah.
Those bracket races are what, that's the only reason I was ever offered the job. So, letting that, like, I just treat it as if it was mine,
Sure.
and run the events that way. And he allows me to do that. Super cool. So I kind of get to have, it's like my playground that he pays for, and I get to, to a
Yeah.
sense, kind of try things, and it's been really good, and I think it's going to be insane.
Yeah, I
this
think
year.
it's going to be really, really good this year too. I'm excited to make our way up there. We're going to try to do the bluegrass race. I think that'll be our first one up there. The bluegrass Little Bucks. Bring the Chevelle up there. This time I won't bring my super stocker. This time I'll bring the regular car. Yeah, man. I don't know. I just wanted to hear about that because I was thinking a lot about it this week.
We're doing a shootout at that race. I don't know if you saw it because it's Derby week.
I'm already entered.
Okay,
So, I mean, I'm telling you, I'm already entered right now. My name might as well just be on the list, baby.
We're calling it the Run for the Roses since it's on Derby
very
week.
Cool. Very cool.
I'm trying to find if anybody knows one. Obviously fake. I want fake roses.
Right.
But I want something similar to what they put on the horse.
Oh, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we get it figured out. I got faith in you.
Cheap as hell. $3 is best.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, we're excited about the schedule for US 60. Obviously, they're going to get started this weekend with some no prep stuff, right? Or
we were going to test them this week in general.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be next week. We've got Southeast drag bikes.
Cool.
They got some fast shit.
They do got fast drag bikes.
Yeah. So we're starting off with that. We're just starting it off with a 3-day race.
Heck yeah, man! Just kick it off early. Yeah, man. Shout out to the listeners here. We got a few viewers in here. Shout out to Walt. Ben Lewis, man. I think that's my guy. I've known Ben since we were kids. Since I was probably 7, 8 years old, man. We've been buddies. Jason, Corey, thanks for joining us. Ray Thurston's here. He is the resident expert on Superstock with Walt. I'll let them argue in the comments of who knows more about Superstock between the two. But we got a lot to talk about this week. Oh, Kugel's. Yeah, sorry, Corey. We're here. We're excited. We got a lot to talk about, just like fun stuff outside of the thing, because there's obviously a lot of things creeping up. Everything's happening. But we're going to kick it off with the NHRA and Pomona. We talked a little bit about this offline, and KB Titan just running amok right now. They were qualifiers like 1 through 6 or something crazy like that, right? I think something pretty wild. So tens of listeners. That's true.
You got them all.
Yeah, man. KB Titan. What are your thoughts on them right now?
If you listen to enough of the NASCAR stuff like we do, and Langdon's another example of it.
Yeah.
But Langdon went through a couple of years where it was like nothing. And I've talked to Foley about this some too. Like, everybody's got the same shit.
Sure.
And so you put it together and you get a little lucky and you hit the right, you get everything just right.
Bolts are torqued the correct
right. And that's, you have success with it, you get ahead.
Yeah.
And I think that's why you see all of these professional race teams across the board go through crew chiefs, and everything is always changing, because eventually you're just going to catch the wave and ride it.
Yeah.
And I think that's just kind of flip-flopped. Elite's going to figure it back out probably, and
yeah, I don't think they'll go very long with not figuring it out.
I don't either. Yeah, I'd say you've got 3 or 4 races before they start at least making their way back. They didn't have any cars in the semifinals.
No, let's see here. We'll go through it. It looked like they did. It was Greg Anderson, Dallas Glenn, Corey Reed, and Kramer, right? Or Hartford. Yeah, Hartford.
Kramer, no, I think it was Kramer.
Let's see. I'll pull it back up here. I got the wrong one.
But they didn't have any cars in the semis, and that's rough.
Yeah, that just does. That's not a thing that you see them go through very often. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, it was Greg Anderson, Dallas Glenn. Why did it do that? Sometimes NHRA, man, your app be just throwing me off here. Dallas Glenn, Derek Kramer, Greg Anderson, and Corey Reed. So, yeah, all 4 KB Titan guys. I just think, like I said, it's an interesting thing to see that the first 3. And that's kind of the thing I love about the points battle stuff, is that you kind of get to see stuff like happen. It's interesting to look back, right? Because if you're looking at some years, you're like, oh, they blew them out of the water. But it's to watch the storyline as it happens, for me, is really the beauty of like motorsports in general, because like you're saying, a lull could happen and things like that.
like watching those '90s, NHRA years in review or whatever. It's all about the points.
Yeah.
And like Force won all those championships, so you just kind of automatically assume that he just wrecked them for 10 years.
Yeah.
But if you look, there's a couple years where, like, I mean, it was decided at Pomona, and there was a year that it was decided at Indy. So
yeah. I think it's a cool thing about that part of it, and that's really what's interesting about NASCAR as well too. And I think the whole playoffs thing is a little weird, and we'll probably get I venture to guess, I've heard recently that NASCAR's thinking about doing away with the playoffs.
I think they just get shit on so much about it. It's probably a problem.
I think that's the thing, is I think it's so much, but NHRA typically tries to follow, right, something NASCAR does. I don't know that the playoffs hurts NHRA. I think it's cool. I don't know that it doesn't.
They don't do nothing with it. It's just
right. It's just
to me, it's
what
kind
it
of
is.
used.
Yeah, if it was more of a bigger thing, I think that would be a better deal. But that's a song for another time. We can talk all about that.
First year they did it though. They did to do that one year. The first year, that was what we talked about with maybe Jeggy before the show or whatever. The year that Dave was going to win.
Oh yeah,
pro stock, but Jeggy did, and it was like they did cut it down that year. It was an actual like more of a
because it had. I think if you're going to do it that way, it was interesting to see these two. And the reason this came up for me is I saw there's a Twitter feed that posts the Winston Cup points if they still did it that way. And somehow Christopher Bell, who won 3 races, was not even in the top. He was like number 4 or 5. Think about that. Won 3 races already, not in number 1 position. You're just like, wait, what is happening here?
It's nuts.
So it's interesting to see if you went back and kind of did that with NHRA. I don't know. But yeah, so KB Titan, I think, I'm interested to see how that storyline goes. Also, Jack Beckman and Clay Millican. Honestly, I didn't have either one of them pulling it off, but Clay Millican. What a great also. So I watched First Round live on, or not live, but I watched First Round on Fox. I obviously was following on Drag Race Central and NHRA TV for the sportsman stuff, but Jasmine Salinas was like, she kept this like very emotional into the track thing when she won the first round that she won. And I was like, man, then they interviewed Blake Alexander and I was like, this guy has been at he's been at the dispensary. My guy is not here on this planet right now. Like it was the complete opposite. I don't know him, but I'm just like complete opposite. And it wasn't intriguing at all. If I'm that guy, dude, I'm telling you, I've watched enough pro wrestling to tell you, I've watched enough pro wrestling to tell you, I'm cutting a promo if they put the mic in my face. It doesn't matter, dog. It just is. You want to sell tickets, put butts in seats. That's how you do it. Ask Ric Flair, brother. So I was just like, what? Jasmine Salinas, I thought crushed it, and then I was just like, oh, but Clay Millican is like consummate, always kills it. He does his thing, and he did a great job. And Beckman's another one of those guys, does a really good job. I like the nonchalant approach that Langdon always takes because it's kind of like he'll throw a dig in at the end, and you're just like, oh damn, okay, all right. So he did feel something. There's like a lot of that. And Smoke is obviously Smoke. I think that he's one of the best too. So all in all, I think that it was really good, but I was excited to see Clay win because obviously I'm a big Clay Millican guy. He's a friend of mine, and he's been a huge supporter of PJ North, and so always going to support him, and he's doing great things with Rick Ware Racing. But him and Jack Beckman, what are your thoughts on the Top Fuel stuff?
I mean, I'm a Beckman fan simply because of John Force. I mean,
sure.
I don't know. I'm a John Force fan. Have been since I was like little.
Man, me and you are the complete opposite.
In the car win again. I know.
I can't believe. I was like, nah. Can I pick everybody else?
Yeah. See, I like when I was born, John Force was already a 7-time champion.
Pretty
and
crazy.
Before I could remember that he existed, he got 5 more. I don't know. But he's just, I don't know. And maybe he was just loud. I don't know.
Yeah. No, he could talk, like, put butts in seats, brother. I don't cheer for every wrestler, but I get it. That's what, I'm not saying every person has to go out there and cut that promo. I'm not saying that. But I do think that,
he has the
electric, brother.
If you give the top 10
he's
promos
1 through 10
in NHRA history, he's 1 through 10.
Yeah.
No doubt. 1 through 10.
Fair enough.
Well, I don't know. WJ might have 1 or 2 in there.
WJ would be 10 because he was except he was talking about people. Are we gonna put a? We're gonna put a.
Yeah, we're putting a top 10
promos.
best top 10 interviews.
All right, we're gonna do that. Let's put that in our list of segments. We're going to talk about that. Corey, that is hilarious. I get emotional when I first.
I do too.
If you aren't watching live, Corey Kugel said, "I get emotional when I win first round too. It's weird not loading up and going home. That is unbelievable."
Belrose was the first time I saw third round. I know exactly how that feels.
Bro, you ain't lying, dog. I didn't see second round at Belrose, so
I told you, we're moving up. He called me today. I haven't talked to him in like, I don't know, 6 or 8 months.
He'll get over
like
it.
on the phone, and he called me today, and we were talking about all kinds of stuff, and he's like, I'm gonna get on there and listen live one day. Well,
we appreciate the feedback. Yeah, man. So Pomona for the pros. Now let's get into what I think everybody kind of came to talk about. Justin Lamb again, dog. Look, I'm telling you, brother.
Said it. Yeah, I mean, he needs to do it in the same car, obviously.
I kind of obviously from a points perspective, it would help.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what I told Decker was going to happen. Somebody's going to go off. I mean, McClanahan won Phoenix and then lost first round, but he already had 2 wins. I think he's got 3 wins. So, I mean, he's done daylighted the field.
Yeah, you love to see it.
Justin's got a win in each, so he's just well on his way to sticking it straight up our ass.
Shout out to Jeff Atkinson, too, because I think he's now got a runner-up and a win, right?
A semi and a win.
Yeah. Oh, semi and a win. That's right.
He was wanting to fly me out there to drive that car because old man now can't run 2 cars, and he's got to focus on one.
That guy better than most, man.
What I love about Jeff Atkinson, he's the only guy, like one of the only guys that I know at that's been doing this right for 30 years. That's still as competitive as he is.
Yeah, it's almost like he hasn't lost a step.
50s or 60, but like, no, I think he's in his 50s, but like he hasn't, and he still wants to win as bad as he did, and that's cool because I get
here to tell you the competitive
at some point.
Yeah, the competitive spirit that guy has is different. If y'all haven't raced against him I promise you, I've been on both ends of it. It is not good. My guy gets it. Yeah, dude, shout out to those guys. And then how about the flying paintbrush? I found this interesting. Geron, I never knew Geron could even drive a race car. I knew he could paint some shit, obviously. We all knew that, but I didn't know Geron ever. Then he got hooked up with Ted Weems and all them, and I think he was an IHRA guy back in the day, right? So I know that he obviously raced, but
he was a Maryland top dragster.
Like I get it. But he goes to Ted Weems' camp and he helps them out, and he delivers in Supercomp, does a great job in D7. Yeah. Gets in a car he's never drove before, in a class he's never raced before. Man, this is some shit like I wrote about it. It's almost like, and my guy gets it done. He gets away with one in the final, but they don't ask you how you got the check when you take it to the bank, dog. So congrats to the flying paintbrush.
I don't know. Did you see the car that he painted for that same guy?
Yeah, the C7. Yeah,
I think he left when he painted mine. He left here and went there. Yeah. That thing is sweet.
He ain't missed. I haven't seen him miss on a paint.
He did in like a week.
Yeah.
Start to finish, like 6 days or something.
Damn, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Okay. Yeah, so shout out to Geron, man. There's the D7 thing. They also announced they're going to have a divisional there next year for the 75th anniversary of NHRA. Shout out to the team at In-N-Out Burger. I love a good In-N-Out Burger. Animal style, the whole deal.
I love the idea of a divisional at Pomona.
They haven't had one since like 2011 or 2001. I don't
even know they ever had.
They have had one. But it's owned by the fairgrounds, right? The Fairplex owns that area. So they have to do this whole deal. And In-N-Out came to the table and was like, we want to have a divisional here. So pretty big deal to add, especially because D7 man is losing tracks left and right for divisional. They like Sonoma only has a national, right?
Yeah,
they lost.
I don't know which. See, that was the weird part about D7 is there wasn't very many tracks that had a divisional, and there wasn't very many national tracks that held divisionals, except for Vegas. And I don't. It's odd, anyways. But they needed something, I think, for sure.
Yeah. So big news for them for next year. So that was exciting. And honestly, I wouldn't have seen it without Ray Thurston. I think Thurston posted it. So Ray, I'm pretty sure you were the one I saw post it. If not, you're taking credit anyway. Yeah, man. NHRA and Pomona, a lot happening. We'll talk a little bit about the NHRA points at the end of the show, but let's get into it. We bracket raced. Me and Tyler showed up to the same racetrack with 2 race cars. I made it there, and then just the utter mechanical expertise that we put together to get it to go down the racetrack. was really impressive. I'm not gonna lie to you. Look, y'all can say whatever. I put that motor in, took the other one that was broke, put that motor in. Kenny Schindler helped me get it started, all this stuff. I myself got it to start. Okay. And then Tyler helped me out, and then Trevor Wiggins helped me out, and Tommy Neely was there. He tried to help me out. So just that alone, how happy was I that it just went down?
It was amazing.
I was ecstatic. I was like, hell yeah, I got to go to the racetrack.
He wanted to set the floats.
First.
So I'm like, all right. So like we did it we talked about it, and then he did it, and he's like, one's a little off. I'm like, okay. I'm like, no problem. When I get there, I'll help you. So I show up a little late.
On. Yeah. Showed up. Hold on. Let's talk about it. Him and Trevor Wiggins both got the same watch on. They ain't neither one of them fucking right. My guy's like, yeah, I'll be there. Okay, I get there. I already knew it was going to transpire. Nobody's there. So I got Tommy Neely help me, and I'm like, hey, I'm trying to set these. Well, every time I'm in the car because I can't obviously set them when I'm sitting in the car. So Tommy's helping me. He's like, every time I go to turn it down and lock it down, the float drops. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Well, then we see that both gaskets on the float, on the nut that's on the float there, are cracked, or they're broke, basically. So I was like, okay, we got that figured out. So we did get 2 of them. We finally got them set. I go make a lap, and it dies like 400 foot out. And that sucked. But
what was it? The fuel pressure, we didn't have enough going down track, right?
Yeah, so that's the other thing. Okay. So I don't have an analog. I don't have a mechanical gauge anymore. I have my race pack gauge. My race pack gauge is set correctly. And then we take the fuel filter out, and then all of a sudden it won't read correctly at all. And I'm like, okay.
The filter had, it looked like, I don't even know, but the filter needed to go. And then we got 12 pounds of fuel pressure, and I'm cranking out on the regulator, and all of a sudden it
pulls
comes
it all the way out. Mind you, we've got so I'm reading the race pack. I'm like, keep going down. He's like, can't go down anymore. Got to see the adjusters out.
We got it down to like 8 or something.
Brutal, man.
And going down the track, it was still too low. I still ain't really.
We're gonna get that figured out. Like I said,
it is good. Good. Once we got it to like go completely A to B, a couple runs, it was good. And the whole time I was on 2 barrels.
Yeah, and so then Tyler's. So the whole thing is he's helping me out. He makes one time run. It doesn't run. It goes like 464, and he's like,
I went 464.
He's like, I didn't have the air on, so the throttle stop must not come up.
I thought the throttle stop stuck close.
Which is brilliant because in reality, it did.
But I've done it before.
Work. Yeah.
It was only a 10th. It wasn't like it was broke. It still had oil pressure. I don't know.
Doesn't take another time run. I'm very appreciative. He doesn't take another time. He's helping me. He doesn't take another time run. Setting us up for failure right off the makes first round, doesn't do it again. He's like, fuck. And I'm like, let's make sure it's going wide open.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like, we've been racing it for a month. When you told me that, I'm like, why the fuck would I do that? I've been racing it for a month. I like, what?
I'm with you.
So I get in the car and I'm like, I'm gonna turn around, right, and I'm gonna watch this. So it's the dragster. I get in it and I turn around, and when I smack the gas, you got the carburetor's on backwards, and the primaries come at me.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is your carburetors. That's what I was so confused about because I'm looking on the drive. I'm like, why am I looking at this side on this? This is kind of weird. Anyways, yeah,
you can run a shorter throttle cable, and you get a little bit better pedal, and you don't have to wrap it around the back. It's really the only reason.
Okay,
you get a little smoother pedal.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah. So, but when I turned around, like the primary is open, and the arm for the secondary don't move. I'm like, what the fuck? It's got it's the regulator on it is one of like mounted on the carburetor, and the spring for the screw came out of the secondary arm.
Yep. And
the spring pushed the arm against the regulator, but held it in place to where, like, I mean, you could still adjust the idle with this bitch. It was still on, the deal.
Still on there.
And I'm like, you've got to be
pretty
kidding
consistent
me.
for only running 2 barrels.
You moved 3 thou. I thought about leaving it alone.
Could you imagine if you raced?
Yeah.
I'd love
it
to
moved
see.
more when I got it right than it did on 2 barrel. That's how my day went. I was 16, 18, 21. I pulled 6. I was 9. I was like, oh, it's their ass.
Oh,
I pulled
they
3
raced
more.
For second, baby.
I pulled 3 more. 3 looked good. I put 2 of it back in. I'm still 4 red.
Yeah, we had a tough go of it. We couldn't get on the right side of the. We pulled in the lanes pretty good too. It's not like I had like a bunch of stuff. Nobody was throwing down like 5 total.
Yes, true. But Kugel makes a good point. Fuel filters. I don't. Yes,
yeah, but here's the
filters are
thing: I've
there.
never had a filter in my hosel there. You know what I mean? So I was like, I think
Me either.
yeah, Trevor's like, as long
I've
as you got
never
one of those, you can use it.
I've never filtered fuel from the from the pump.
Yeah, fair.
Okay, it comes
Fair.
from God. It goes in my car. There's no filtration system in between.
Oh man. So yeah, we were in the buyback window early and often, but we had a great time. In Tentuck, obviously, you know, Lynn Ellison made a great point. He's like, man, I won $500 this weekend already. I was like, oh, how's that? He's like, well, I didn't have to enter and I didn't have to buy back. I was like, fair enough. But Tentuck, man, is that classic, very specific. It is 10 grand to win.
To it. Like,
exactly.
You still want to, you know what? And that's
Yeah.
I guess that I've been thinking about that. Like, you want to talk about it. It's still something that you want to win. You know,
1,000%. It still matters.
Want to have on, yeah. Like if you're going to win
Yeah.
all these races and be, you know, one of the greatest things ever. Like you kind of still want that 10
because the hitters, everyone like it used to be like the big touring thing. Like everybody would go there. If you were going to go to a big money race, you'd be like, oh, I'm going to Tentuck in July.
Even when I started,
whatever.
Like, first Tentuck I went to still had, you know, I mean, Disco was there and, you know, Gary was there and, you know, it's still, I think Slate was at one of them that I was at. Like it was still a thing that people
exactly.
For a long way.
They revamped it this year too. They've got Mint Gaming Hall and they're giving away new trophies. They still obviously have the big checks. And
that's
stuff.
really good for the big money bracket racing,
I think
you
so
know,
too.
community because they're degenerate gamblers.
They love it, man. Hey, buddy, you didn't win here. We could send you 20 miles that way and we can hook you up.
Fantastic idea. It's going to work. It actually caught my attention, and I thought if I didn't have to go home, that was where I was going to end up.
Yeah.
So it's working.
Shout out to Randy Rice. Randy is a local here, man. I'm here to tell you, if Randy Dell had good Randy Dell, that's what we call him. If Randy he has good equipment because his dad and him, they are very specific and they work on it and they'll make changes. But if he had like a 450 dragster and like unlimited and like money to like, I think that he would be competitive anywhere because he wins a lot. Now, honestly, I don't know if he goes to a lot of other racetracks, but like I've raced with him for a long time here now, obviously, and he puts together just like really, really good runs.
He makes himself hard to beat. I don't think he beats himself a lot.
Yeah. And I think Cody Wiggins won. Cody Wiggins won the second one, correct?
Okay, I missed that. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
But yes, I think in the El Camino.
Yes.
Trevor called last night.
Yeah. So they're it was good. They only got to race two of the days, obviously. But still, good crowd. They had over 200 cars both days. So I think it's a win-win for Brock and them. Obviously, I love Bowling Green, so it was close for us. And I had a video. We did that, so I'm going to show a quick clip. And don't forget to like and subscribe PJ North Racing. And just like that, we are loaded. One car in, one car back in the garage. Everything moved around. We got a lot of stuff in the trailer. It's a lot going on. But Bowling Green we go. We got one thing to fix when we get there. The float's not acting right in front, and I don't know enough about it. So we're gonna get it fixed tomorrow. Bowling Green. Let's see how it goes. All right, we made it. Friday, going to Bowling Green. Gonna try to see if we can get this Chevelle to run. How excited are you, Casey?
So excited.
We'll see what happens. Hopefully, all the hard work will pay off and it'll run. Let's see how it goes. All right, maiden voyage. Let's see how it goes. So obviously, as you saw, the car it ran okay to a certain extent, but then it was like running out of fuel. It wasn't actually getting fuel the whole way down. So we changed the fuel filter on it now. We've taken it off. We've bypassed that. We're going to change the shift point, see if it'll run here, and make another hit. Yeah, man. So check it out. PJ North Racing on YouTube. Obviously, we do a lot of that content. Tyler's cars in there and all the stuff.
I had something before we did that. Oh, the Tintuck, they're whatever, 10G at BG, whatever. It brought up a question in my head. Would you rather go to a race where you pay a weekend entry, like a, fling or TV race or whatever? And, like in this situation, I think this was the obvious scenario, right? Like Sunday's a washout. We can race Friday, Saturday. Would you rather go to a race with a weekend entry where they would have combined Sundays, it would have been 20 to win on Friday or something, or the single day format where it might be a little bit more expensive and you're just going to cut the day? Would you rather just invest what you are expecting to invest in the beginning? That's the way I look at it anyways. Let me put it that way. I look at it as, if I'm going to a race, like even at that race, if I'm going 9 times out of 10, I go for the weekend, I'm planning on running all 3 days. I'd rather just pay that.
Yeah.
And then, if we're looking at weather, run for 20, then just cut the race and be cheaper. If you're going to race, I think most people would look at it that way, but I don't know.
That's an interesting take because I was obviously only going to this race Friday. We had kind of plans and the weather was not looking good anyway. Yeah. So for me, but to your,
and me too this time.
To your point though, probably the weekend entry thing. I think it's cool because then you're like, oh, we're not gonna be able to race Sunday. Let's just add it on top to Friday and Saturday's deal, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's what you're thinking is. And I'm good with. I think for me, when it comes to racing, I do like having a planned attack, like what races I'm going to. But I also just kind of sometimes like flying by the seat of my pants and just like picking up. This is really for me, I don't win enough for it to really matter. But I think to answer that question specifically, I think the weekend entry, knowing what I'm getting into, knowing what I'm going to spend, that does help a lot, obviously. And I think for me, not good with money, where I'm just like, oh, recklessly buy back 30 times. Yeah. So
I'm not buying back once I'm there. Facts, not happening.
I'll be honest with you, dog. I'm a big no buyback guy because I suck most of the time. But
me too. I'm at 0 for 2 every day. I'm taking 2 more. Give me 2 more. I'm here. I spent all this money to enter. I'm taking the second chance.
Yeah. That's
people that enter the million but don't buy back. The entry's $2,000 and the buyback's $500. I got no problems voicing my opinion on that. That is stupid.
Yeah, that the buyback's $500. How much should it be?
Well, no, just that people actually enter.
They still get for all of you. Yeah, the promoter gets. Oh yeah, y'all
they get like a 95. It's
imagine. And I think those people. I think that it goes to your point though. They know what they're going to spend. This is the perfect example. If it were a single day entry thing like that, they wouldn't be doing that. But they know what they're going there to spend. They know the million. They know the layout. They know what they got it right. They've got it figured out.
Right.
That's a good point.
Why would you not buy back? It's 25% of the entry fee.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I'm already pot committed for sure. I've never entered the million, so I don't know.
There's people that have done that, and I'm like,
waiting
wow.
for. My hope this year is that Brian Whitworth puts me in the million. I'm just putting it out there to the world.
I hope it goes better for you than it did me, because he's put me in like 3 millions now. He's down about 20,000.
He knows I only single entry though, so he ain't got to worry about it's 2,500 max for him, baby.
Hey, we talk a lot of shit about Brian, but the first time that he put me in the million, I doubled everything, and he paid it, and him and Shauna just singled. Like he singled, he was paying the tab. They were bringing all their stuff. I was driving his car, but he put me in twice. He's like, I'm your best chance we got. I did I think I made $300.
Tough break.
And I spent like 10,000 by the time it was over with.
Look,
6,800 or something was my tab.
We're going to say some things about Brian because he's one of our best friends. Brian and me go way back. But Brian, and I'm here to tell y'all, anybody, you may not like Brian Whitworth, but I'm here to tell you, Brian is one of the best people in drag racing.
Yeah, as long as you don't let him have a conversation. It depends on how you take
I tell
him,
you,
right?
that's the best part about Brian. I hope Brian's listening because he's like, all right, he's like, I'm at my cousin's house, gotta go by.
Oh yeah, no, but 5 minutes before that, there's nothing to talk about in the conversation, and you're like, maybe I should, you call me dog. So like whenever you're ready to hang up, and he's like, you gotta stop. I gotta go. Bye.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you just made it sound like I was a problem for you on the phone when you
That's
called
why he's
me.
the best. Oh man, shout out to B-Dub. Yeah, man, good stuff. That's a great point too, Billy. Last point is pre-sale buybacks. They have that thing called mulligans. I've seen that at a couple different races where you like have to pre-extra. Like you're like, hey, give me. You can buy mulligans or whatever you call it. I thought that was an interesting thing. Another one that I found interesting is a progressive payout. It's 500 for the weekend. And if you want to pay $750 instead of winning 10 grand or whatever, you could win 20 grand. Yeah. And I thought that thing was pretty cool too.
I did that with the working man's one year, and I won it, and then you basically fell into the split of the top side.
Oh,
so,
okay.
If you think you got a chance to win, pay it, and you're probably going to fall into a paycheck anyways.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is, I'm like, hey man, if I win this race, not only do I get 10K, but I also paid an extra $100, and now I get an extra $5 grand or whatever.
Right. Didn't I do that at Huntsville with the 70?
I never been to one of those. I forget where I saw it, but
Brian won one that he paid the extra 99 or whatever.
Yeah.
It paid 10 grand or something.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool idea. I like that idea too, because like you said, racers are degenerate gamblers. They gonna do it, baby.
The progressive buyback race we did, it was $100 to buy back for a 10 grander that was free. Went up $50 every round. We did have people buy back at $500, but they were already in the split for the 10. They were getting like $2,200.
Yeah, so they're already getting their money back. Oh, that is a wild one. I've never seen that one. That's pretty cool.
It's seven cars. I think it was 7 cars left. We had 2 guys that still held buybacks, and the price would have been $550 the next round. It was gonna be like 13 rounds was the max that could go, but it was 9th or 10th round.
I don't know if I want to see that as a fan, but I get it as a racer. If no one's watching, it's not streamed. All right. Well, up next is our favorite. It's the comp combo of the week.
Yeah, pull her up here.
And it's brought to you by my 1991 NHRA Winston drag racing hat and Andrew Hill. Those are the presenters for the week. Who you got this week? What's our
Andrew actually texted me yesterday and I missed it. Oops.
Oh no.
Okay, so this week, Brian Brow.
Okay.
D dragster. He's been driving a 6-cylinder dragster for, I don't know, longer than you and I have been alive.
That's Brow
Bell housings.
Bell housings, yeah.
So it's a V6.
I knew there was a word for it. I was just going to motion for it.
Yeah. But it's just, I don't know, just a splayed valve V6 or whatever the hell they're running heads on them things. And a 5-speed Liberty in a damn hardtail dragster. I don't
think people quite understand. Shifting in a dragster is the wildest thing I've ever heard.
Well, I think they're, like air shifter.
It's an air shifter, right? Where they're hitting but still.
They got a clutch pedal and no brake pedal. They got a handbrake is it. I think is how his car's set up.
So he has a handbrake and then a clutch pedal. So he has to hit the clutch to shift, or it's air. It's just, it's clutchless.
It's air. Yeah, it's clutchless.
Okay.
It's clutch.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think I don't even know. That shit's wild.
Man, that's a cool one. You don't know what size 6-cylinder it is?
I'd be lying if I said. I'm assuming
213 cubic inch.
Probably like 250 something, I guess.
Oh, okay. Very cool. I would love to have a comp roundtable this year with some guys to just talk about different combos that they've run, and how they've figured out different. Because someone had to be like, "Hey, I know I can make this fast," right? You know what I'm saying? Like, "Hey, I saw this 4-cylinder in a Honda the other day, and the Honda passed me doing 150. I knew that this guy, I had to get one, right, or whatever." 270-ish. All right. Yeah. Thanks, Chuck.
And that's Wes makes a good point. Doug Ingles has 3 of these things.
Hold on. Doug Ingles, the guy with the Superstar?
Yeah, dude, he's got all. You don't follow him. You need to go get him on Facebook, okay? You probably like none of it, but this dude is a nut for modified.
I like
Corvette.
All things. My guy's got he does a big ass wheel stand and everything.
Yeah, but he's got 3. He's like badass in comp too.
Okay, I did not know that.
3. Yeah, he's got 3 of these cars. I think one might be one's he's got automatics and sticks for both maybe or something.
Okay.
But yeah, they're 7,500 cars probably.
Damn, I did not know that. That is pretty cool. That's
Absolutely not.
Very neat deal.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Doug Ingles. We'll have to check that out. Yeah, comp is an interesting thing. All right, we're gonna look ahead to we got a couple things to talk about here. It's not as much headlines, just really just looking ahead. First thing, spring fling in Vegas. Obviously, we had a lot of friends go out there. You've had 2 steal your truck and take their hot rods out west. What cars did they take? And what's it looking like?
Matt and JP, they took the Grand Am and JP's Mullis. They're gonna double, so you can't. Not getting into that.
You can't double the same car. You can't double the driver. Can't double the same car. 2 drivers can double.
In a million. We're gonna need you there for Friday. We're gonna need you there.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do it one day, but not the other 3. But him and Matt can both run the Grand Am and both run the dragster.
Right.
And then on the million day, they can just both run their own.
Okay, gotcha. That's a wild.
I need a semester in spring fling.
I'd love to know. I think that Pete and Kyle were kind of innovators in the sense of like the different things that they've done. I'd be interested to know what the theory is because a lot of their stuff goes into the NHRA timing thing, like we've talked about with Jeb, right? Like, love to have a run schedule, love to keep things on schedule, and like there's some theory behind what they've done, right? I would be interested to see.
You're just trying to control your car count without capping it.
That's what I mean. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So there's got to be some thought.
But like, let's just prolong the races. Like,
yeah,
ain't nobody want to drive from over here to Las Vegas and run one. Nobody wants to do that. Not when you don't like. Listen, Phil Combs, I think, is the one who told me this a long time ago. I'm good with it. No doubles.
Yeah.
Or doubles of any kind.
Okay, you don't want there to in between.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Either everybody can do it or nobody can do it.
I got you. Okay.
And I got 2 cars. Most places when I'm bracket racing, I prefer to run one. But like, let's just get that out of the equation. If you want to control car counts, as a promoter, I feel like there's 100 ways to do that.
Sure.
You're just limiting everybody to where now to go 2,000 miles, I have to take 2 cars.
Yeah.
And
I see what you're saying.
There's still a lot of guys that drive 2,000 miles to go to this race. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never liked that, no matter who does it.
Sure. No, 1,000%. I think it's, like I said, it's interesting theory behind that. The dragster race, I think they're racing for a complete turnkey car. It's like $2,000 to enter the race or something, right? The dragster race today?
It's always been like expensive because it's only so many 48 cars or something.
Yeah.
I don't. They asked me to haul a car.
Yeah.
American did, and I didn't have the ability to. But I don't know. It was a roller, but it might be a complete roller.
I don't know. It said $70,000 value, so I wasn't 100% sure. I thought it was turnkey, maybe. So I don't know. Interesting thing though, they'll have that race today because they've always done the 2 cars, right? Right, the winner and the runner-up. The winner gets the pick, and then the runner-up gets the other one. At the Bristol one, yeah.
It always was. I don't. Yeah. This one, I think it's just the 1 car.
Yeah, okay.
But it is a more complete.
Okay. Yeah. So the Spring Fling, check it out. I think it's on YouTube. Spring Fling bracket. I think it's bracket races is what you follow. But yeah, the million is ongoing. We'll see. We'll come back next week and see how the JP Matt Diddy team did. We'll come back with some notes from there.
Decker's out there with Pedro too.
Decker's out there too. Yeah, I forgot about that.
I can't even keep up with it. That he sent me. There's 87 numbers and letters in this text. I need a minute.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Next week, also, we're very excited. Verge and the TB stuff is kicking off next week. I hope that the Verge folks are ready, man. We're excited to bring it to South Georgia, and we're going to talk very in-depthly next week about Verge. So join us. If you guys don't know, honestly, man, check out the stuff that we've posted. Check out Verge Quick Outlaws online. It is I've done some cool recap videos, not because I did them, but you know what I mean. They're just interesting races. The junior stuff, we're adding 4.0, 4 flat this year. It's exciting. It's going to be cool.
It is, and me and Jeb were talking about it on the way home from the track today. Like, Verge is something that, we know that if we want it to get where we want it to go,
got to expand.
It's the saying, it's the saying you got to spend money to make money.
Yeah, and
it's we're learning how to navigate that, but also do it in a way that we can justify. I think every business deals with it, and we're learning it with Verge.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that keeps you up at night.
Yeah.
Like it's just you want it to do better than it has, and you want it's got so much potential. And so
Yeah, I think that's the big thing is just like the potential is unmatched. And we're going to talk, like I said, a lot about that next week. We're excited. So join us, like I said, if you haven't. All right, next thing, the NHRA points, the standings. Just talk a little bit about it. At the top of comp right now is Dean Carter. I don't know enough about comp to know who has a fighting chance. I do know that Monty Bogan's in 5th and Chase Williams is in 3rd. I feel like both of them, they've only got two races, so I feel like both of them have a real chance. Clinton F., as we talked about, has only got 2 races. When do you think, I mean, does comp go the whole year? Or do you really know by like mid-year if someone's really
I think mid-year who should win.
Yeah.
But it rarely plays out that way. I mean, you're talking to guys that will be there at the end.
Yeah.
Dean Carter, Clinton F. I don't know if Clinton even Chase, to be honest with you, but
yeah.
Chase Williams, Monty, those are guys that are going to be in the running.
Yep.
Having a chance for sure.
Okay. So we'll as we kind of continue to talk about that throughout the year, we'll see how it kind of plays out. Super stock, Ryan McClanahan, like you said, he's got 4 claims already. 2 of them are wins. 1 of them is a semi, but he does have a first round exit, like you said, at the Nationals.
So what? He's got 4 races right now, and Pomona's Pomona's on there.
Yeah, It's 30. It's a 30.
So he's got a win.
2 divisionals. He's got a divisional win, a national win, and a divisional semi.
Okay, that's what it is. 2 wins and a semi.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's sitting at what, like 330?
313. Pretty close.
313 with 4 races. I mean, that's – so put it this way. He's going to claim – say he doesn't win another round. He's going to have 430 or some shit.
Yeah. Still nearly a top finish.
In the top 10 every year, and he doesn't win another round. He's got to win 10 or 12 rounds over the next 10 races.
That's incredible.
So,
do you have obviously this list is it's early in the season. Tebow, you're 9th. Atkinson, this is the one that kind of blows me away. Atkinson has 222, right? The unfortunate thing is he has 4 nationals.
4 nationals?
Yeah, because he ran Gainesville, then he ran Belrose, Phoenix, and Pomona. Yeah. So he is in.
And he probably super stock. I don't think he's had a good one yet.
Yeah. So he has a semi at Gainesville.
Oh, in super stock. That's right.
Yeah, in super stock. So
right.
I don't know how.
I don't know. I don't either. Well, for me, listen, I got 2 races scheduled.
Sure.
If opportunity presents itself to go to an early one, I probably will take it.
Yeah.
But it's 1 race at a time.
No, 1,000%.
I know that I have Memorial Day off. I know that I have Labor Day off.
Yep.
And you get one. I don't like claiming Indy for a points chase.
Yeah. But you might have to.
The years that I've done good, I did not claim Indy.
Yeah.
I'm held up. I have to. There's no other option. So. That's just what I'm going to do, and try to get to a divisional, try to get to something, and just see. I mean, it doesn't take it takes 1 bad race for me to give up on it at this point, because it takes so much to get there with everything going. So keep having good races. I'll keep going. If not,
I'd like to note that I'm tied for 145th. Oh man, tough go of it, but. All right. Look.
I'll be down there with you in a minute.
No, I don't believe it. Stock, Jeff Atkinson is winning. He's only got 298 though. That's a crazy thing to think about. Like
6 races, 4 nationals, and
he has he has a semi and a win, and then he has a first round, a second round, a first round, and a third round.
So that's the good thing about that though is like
he can kind of better all those.
You win 1 round, you're adding points.
Yeah.
He still got clean claims divisionally. So
yeah.
I mean, he's got so his national score, he's got a win and a semi.
At nationals, he has a win, a semi, and a third rounder.
Honestly, I mean that can win.
He's been to 4 nationals, so like
so he could sneak off and run some divisionals.
Yeah,
and if it's going to take a pretty
Sure. No,
What is that?
Yeah, it's a very interesting. He's got 298 right now, like I said.
223 nationally.
Yeah. No, 298 is nationals.
Well, but that's counting as divisionals too.
Oh, I'm
but those
sorry.
three races,
So yeah,
the three races that he's claiming nationally.
Yeah,
he's got a 105, an 83, or a 73.
A 73.
Okay, and then he's got a 50 for third round.
Yeah, so he's got 228.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
but so that's probably not enough. He needs to have one more good national, and then he's got to kind of take off divisionally. Cool. It's just that's the part that I try to explain that you don't think about. 600 points, 650 is when you're probably talking about winning the world. And like I had 632, and that's a semi. That was like 81 point average. So
yeah, I don't think it. I think that's the thing that's like really, really impressive to me as we talk about points and super stock and stock, all of the class stuff, right? The sportsman stuff, is that just the amount of points that it takes to win. Like when you win the world, it is a real accomplishment to show like how many good runs you had to put together.
Yeah, you've got to average you've got to average 80 something, high 80s a race, I think.
Yeah.
I might somewhere
I would say at least that if you had 630 something,
I was like 81 points was my average, and it's 8 races. So, 85 points, somewhere around in there, 86 points. It's just maybe 90 points. It's hard. It's hard. And so what I'm saying is, he's got to win in the semi. If he didn't do, if he has a mediocre year from there, he's not even in the top 15. So
tough.
You really need to have, to me, a winner. When I won the division both times, I had 2 wins.
Yep. And
then a really good semi, quarterfinal, maybe 2 quarterfinals or a semi and a runner-up to go with it.
Damn.
You better see, in my opinion, you need to see 4 finals before you say I'm not chasing the world, but I have a chance.
Real chance. Okay. Interesting. Some of the other stuff, Super Comp, Gabe Torres is at the top. Johnny LaBoost with the same amount at 4th. There's still a lot of guys. Like I said, I think that one's really wide open. Gabe Torres has 270.
It usually stays. Yeah. I mean, it usually stays that way, right? Like that's usually when you get to Vegas, somebody in stock and super stock's got 670, or a 650 plus. But the last year's comp has been like 580, 590, and there's 5 or 6 guys.
I think it's a little different, interesting take on those too. I will say Super Gas right now, Nathan Vrooman has 341 in Super Gas, and he has a win in a division, a semi in a division, that's 83, and all quarterfinals the rest of the way. All fit. So, but not honestly, he's put together a pretty good run so far, and it's going to take a little bit to better it. It's tough because
that's one of them. That's one of them deals that's looking at like probably that, right? So 2 quarterfinals.
Wait, is quarterfinal that's where you get 2 points at the quarterfinal? Maybe he has 51s. Yes, he has 3 51s in a row. So I don't know.
What did you? Oh, those are third rounders.
Oh, third rounders. Okay.
So those are kind of the hardest thing for me is like I think you want to get rid of 4th rounders, right?
Yeah.
But 4th rounders are really hard to better.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Losing 4th round, I feel pretty good. If I go out 4th round, I'm like, hell yeah, they paid my check. Let me get out of here. Hell yeah. That's kind of my look at it, though. Interesting.
I got people in Vegas texting me, asking me about like all my bracket racing buddies that go to Vegas, and then they race against the NHRA guys.
Oh, yeah. What's this guy going to do? What's this guy going to do?
Yeah.
Hey, tell him to text you back in 7 minutes when we're done. How about that? No, I can't. I'm interested to see. Like I said, NHRA points are shaping up. A lot of things ongoing there, so we'll kind of continue to look at that throughout the year. Obviously, not chasing it. I went out first round both, but if I win Indy divisional, we might make. Who knows? We'll see. All right. The last point we want to talk about, it is Darlington weekend in NASCAR, and they are having throwback weekend, which is the best weekend of the year in NASCAR, in my opinion, next to the All-Star race. I really enjoy the All-Star race too, but me and Tyler talked a little bit about this offline, and I want to get you guys' feedback in the comments as well if you're watching. Where and why? First off, a lot of questions going into this. The first thing is, let's talk a little bit about, obviously, the NASCAR throwback thing, and do we think NHRA could do it? Me and you talked a little bit about this offline, and I believe that it is a minimal cost for a high value of marketing from an NHRA perspective, and why aren't we doing it? I see teams do it. The problem is they do it different times of the year, right? And there's almost like no correlation. Like, I don't know that I was like the Kalita thing that we saw at the pro race. I thought the Kalita car was sick. And I was like, every team should be doing this and we should be doing it at a race. And then there should be merch tied to it. And I don't know if Kalita had merch, but I know it wasn't targeted at me on Facebook or Instagram. So I don't know if they did or not. Okay. So they did have merch.
I did. Jeb's actually got the hoodie on today.
Okay.
And it was cool. Like they did it the right way. Now that's the argument that I brought to you with it. It's kind of like Hendrick doing it, right? Like it's the sponsor. Well, I guess he has DHL some of the year, Kalita, whatever that thing.
It's all.
I'm sure DHL wasn't there for that race, whatever. So it's a Kalita paid for car. Like Kalita's obviously going to let him do whatever. Plus it was a throwback.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure it's a little harder for, Skag to say, change my colors and do this and do that or whatever.
See, that's my thing though, right? Is that you have these companies spending money. They're already spending a lot of money. The value add would be from the team perspective, in my opinion. Now, again, I don't know if Melling is giving Elite a ton of money. I don't know if Outlaw Beer is giving them that much money. Outlaw obviously doesn't have a throwback because they're a brand new company. So I get some of these things. My point was, like, let's look at the value add in the sense of, like, merch perspective and brand awareness and, like, talkability, right? Like, I think I used Bo as an example, and I would be interested to know if, and we talked about this, does Bo sell more merch outside, and you mentioned Indy, so that was a perfect example, but does Bo sell more merch of those T-shirts and stuff that he does for the Halloween race than he did at the other 24 races or whatever, not counting Indy? Like, that's an interesting take, because I think if there's value in that, I would get on the horn with TJ right now and tell him to wrap that car in the yellow, orange, and black Jags. And we should all do, we talked about this. Let's do it at Bristol. I think Bristol's the perfect race. It's kind of got that throwback feel. It's also highly attended.
Is it still Father's Day weekend?
Yes, Father's Day weekend. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's all perfect, honestly.
Yeah, so I would be interested to see, and I just think it would be cool. And me and you talked about this. Like, if I was getting paid all year long by a team, by a sponsorship, if I had a sponsorship deal, I think that I would give back to them doing this myself. I would be like, hey, can we do this? Like, is this like? I think that this is a good idea. Can we do this? If we're wrapping the car,
the
now, obviously,
it takes to wrap the car or whatever. Like, that's not something that I would, that would just, that's a cost that I would eat.
Yeah.
And yes, I would be okay with that. I think, but once that probably goes back to our first talk about, wanting to give back to the sport a little bit. I think that is the way to, to me, that's all that is. You're not necessarily getting new fans, but you're kind of pulling the heartstrings of the old ones.
You're deepening your relationship with the fans you have.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
So that matters. And that's why I would do it. Yeah. Now, I still think that we're a minority. So
1,000%. We don't know what we're talking about. But that goes along. So I want to know what your guys' feedback are. Like, do you think an NHRA team should do it? I think that the top ones should do it. I think Caps can run an old school. I think he did the Prudhomme thing last year, but at Indy, it would be cool to see like a throwback Napa car and everybody do them on the same weekend. And maybe Skag, we do something like different, but in their color, their name, the same way that Hendrick is doing Kellogg's, but they're changing the Kellogg's name to Hendrick. They do it in the same script font, the same deal. Like, I don't see why we couldn't do that in NHRA. Again, maybe it's a cost thing. Maybe it is. I don't know, but I would love to know that.
Like I said, I think the biggest thing is the partners not wanting to change. We fight that now. Not fight it, right? Like
I get it.
The last few years, I've ran into it more often of like color changes.
Yeah, they don't want to do it. Yeah, brand
changes
awareness
and stuff. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know how much. Like for me, that's probably why. Like
it may just be a nostalgia
person on planet Earth,
right?
So but I get like I see enough of it, I guess. But I wouldn't give a damn.
Sure.
I think there's a meaning to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Billy makes a good point.
And Billy would know.
Yeah, and I
Billy
think
would be the guy to ask,
right.
Like that is the way that I would do it. Like I would just want to tweak it.
It's the same thing, right? I'm still going to put Skag on the side of my car,
yeah,
but I'm going to fit it to Skag when they first started the company. Still gonna be
Well,
skag. Still gonna be like if I was
well,
doing
you're
it, that's what I
gonna
would
fit
do.
it to the period of the throwback that you're going to.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
like we talked with the Dale Jr. and Noah Gregson doing his car.
Yeah,
Like I'm gonna fit it to that car, whatever it looked like.
exactly,
And
exactly.
so, and Billy might be the one. You know, he would definitely probably be able to text us and answer this question after this. But you know, would that be a problem to his, you know, the company he works for,
Right.
or you know, like I could go to Rick's. I'm sure I could call Rick Taylor and he'd be like, "Yeah, that's badass. Do whatever you
Yeah.
want."
Right.
But where's you know,
Sure.
I don't know.
Where's the line? Yeah, I get it. Interesting. It's an interesting concept. And with that concept, I would like to know two things. One, what is your favorite NASCAR throwback of yours that you've either seen, or maybe it is a car that you would like to see from back in the day? What outside, obviously, we all want to see Dale, but let's be realistic.
I want to see. Isn't somebody doing, or did somebody do the Harry Gant Skull Bandit car?
Yes, but
It might
they
be
did it
crazy.
in.
I thought somebody maybe already did that, or maybe somebody was doing
Let's
it this
see.
year. I would like.
Let's look it up. Harry Gant skull throwback. I think someone is. I can't type and do this at the same time. Oh yeah, here it is. Oh no, someone did. This is one I've seen online, so I don't know if it is. I don't know if anybody has. Oh, Harry Gant Skull Bandit is banned from Darlington, so that may be why that paint job. I don't know.
There you go. I thought somebody did it.
There it is.
Well,
Okay, maybe not. That
but
would
there's
be a
been a
great
lot
one.
of-
We should figure out how to do that. That's a great idea.
Denny Hamlin said he was doing some Carl Edwards throwback, and they asked him like, if you're gonna do a Carl Edwards throwback, if you win the race, you got to do a backflip.
Backflip?
And he's like, absolutely not.
Look, man. The funny that you bring up Hamlin. I like Hamlin because I love 23XI. Obviously, I'm a Jordan collector, so I'm super invested in Jordan as a company. And Denny won and then was wearing Jordan race shoes. I'd like to know who got him those. I've been saying this, so if anyone knows, I'd like to know.
I would say his business partner.
Yeah,
but,
I'm sure
you
he
know.
did, but I'd like to know who made them because I would buy a pair right now and I would pay a lot of money because
Well,
I got a lot of money invested in other ones. So
that's
I would
true.
do it. But my point being is Denny got on the hood and then it come to find out that he's an Ohio State fan, and I was like, damn, bro, tough.
How about that? I heard that, and I was
Brutal.
like, damn.
Brutal, tough
I'm a
sled
like.
there.
I like Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch because nobody else does.
Right. I like Denny Hamlin too. Same thing. I feel bad for him this year because he's had like the worst sponsorship stuff, and that Progressive car looks like dog shit. But anyways, so you're gonna go with Harry Gant skull throwback. That's what you like.
Yeah,
if it was out there.
somewhere, that's me. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that.
I would say my favorite of those is the Dale Senior silver car, the silver and orange. Good wrench
Yeah,
that he
that was
ran.
cool.
I really like that one too. Now, my second question for you is, if you could do a throwback on your car right now, on either the Camaro or your Nova, the Chevy 2, Chevy Deuce, what would you do on your car? What throwback scheme, either from drag racing or from NASCAR?
Yeah, my Chevy 2 would be Cotton Perry's modified Chevy 2 for sure.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Perry and Hedrick or whatever it said. It's like from the 70s, modified production stuff. Like probably one of my dad's all-time favorite cars, but it was just, that would be it.
I bet I've sent Tyler 40,000 images, and I'm like, I'm going to paint my Chevelle this way. Honestly, dude, mine, I would go with that Johnny Benson Valvoline car when he was the 10, where it was like splattered paint, but it was red, white, black, and blue. I really, really liked that. I think Valvoline has like one of the cleanest color schemes when they paint them on cars. I think it looks really good. I used to love what's his name's in Super Gas. Sherman
Sitco did it too.
Sherman. Who did?
Sitco did it too, I think,
Sitco,
where it was like, it was faded, but it was more splatchy and splotchy or whatever.
Yeah, man. I would have loved that. I think I would do that one. Or I would do I don't know, man. Dale Jr.'s Gray Ghost is pretty cool too. I really enjoy that paint scheme as well. I know we've talked a lot about that, but all right, man. Well, we've talked a long time today. As always, we find some good things to talk about. I appreciate everybody joining us live tonight here on the show. It is episode 10. We made it 10 weeks, 10 tries at this, man, and we're only getting more comfortable. Tell Jake Hodge I'm never putting this mic down either. I'm not buying another mic stand. Don't worry about it. I'm going to hold it just like this. But But thank you guys for joining us. We do appreciate it. And next week we are back, and like I said, we're going to talk about Verge. It's our first TB promotion / Verge Quick Outlaws race of the year, and we're getting excited about it. Oh, Castrol GTX. Thank you, Walt, for throwing it in late.
The post one's good too.
Walt gets it. Thank you guys all for joining us here on the B00 Take 00 show. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. We appreciate y'all. Until